So today, what we have today is a matcha from the Tsujiki Tea Garden in Kyoto. Tsuji Kiyoharu and his son Koki are award-winning tea farmers. Tsuji-san himself has not only won the top minister's prize that is awarded to the highest placing tea in basically all of the tea competitions, but he has also been honored with a Emperor's Award. And the Emperor's Award is awarded to a farmer, not just tea farmers, but throughout all of the agricultural industries. The tea farmers who have shown a exemplary skill in farming their produce, not just tea, but among all other produce. And he was awarded the Emperor's Award in recognition of his skill for tea farming. In recent years, the Asahi cultivar of matcha has been dominating the tea competitions for tencha. Tencha is the leaf that is used to make matcha. For those who don't know, tencha is a leaf that is grown in the spring or grown and shaded before harvesting. And in harvesting, if you hand pluck it, that's more traditional, and also you're able to get the leaves, get whole leaves better. And there's a lot of other different techniques that go into cultivation that I'll explain as well later. The tea competitions will judge the leaf, not the matcha itself, but just the leaf. And because they're judging the produce from farmers. So they're judging the leaf that is used to make tencha. And this year, he places very highly every year, and in some years he wins. He also wins at regional competitions. This year, this Asahi cultivar matcha the leaf for it won third place, as well as fourth place actually. He and his son both submitted entries themselves. But this one is the third place award-winning matcha, or award-winning tencha leaf. And the Tsuji family themselves have also purchased recently their own stone mills, so it's also ground by them themselves. Now, I've spoken before about these competitions. So farmers or farming groups, farming companies will submit their entries to the tea competition. And after the tea competition, the lots, they're about 4 kilograms, will be bid upon by different companies. And those companies will purchase the lot. And occasionally farmers themselves ask their partners to bid on their own lots for them. If they win their own lot, they will be able to get their lot back. And this is what happened in this case with Tsuji-san. So theoretically, somebody who is part of a trade association that is allowed to participate in the auctions for these competition grade lots could outbid the farmers and their partners. And take the whole lot themselves, which happens every once in a while. But generally, if you're a farmer who wants to sell your own product yourself, then you bid high on your lot. So this year we have several different competition grade teas from the national tea competition, and this is the tencha version and the matcha that was created from the tencha. So last year, I only got 10 of these. There's 20 grams in each of these. I only got 10 of them, and before I knew it, it had sold out. So this year, the price has gone up, and so we have also raised the price. And I hope to be able to. And before it sells out, I took one can, and I decided to do a tasting today. So we're going to open this, and we're going to taste it. Let me check the temperature. Temperature of the water is at 73 degrees, so that's about perfect. So we're going to open it carefully right now from the back. Opening of the box. Tsuji-san packages it very well. Oops, there's a little, this little sticker here says Asahi. Now the Asahi cultivar is actually quite fickle, I guess you would say. It's very susceptible to damage, weather damage, very susceptible to disease, and it does take a lot of skill to grow the Asahi cultivar well. And just because it is the Asahi cultivar doesn't mean that it's going to be good. In fact, I have tasted many instances where the Asahi cultivar was not very good. This is Tsuji-san's beautiful can of matcha. I actually don't know where he gets these very beautiful black washi paper lined cans. Beautiful though. Probably has them produced. With a nice metal cup, metal lid. And it is packaged in this way. And this allows it to have the minimal amount of air inside. So we are going to get a scissors and open it. Oh, I'm so nervous now. I tasted this 2 years ago and it was absolutely excellent. And that is before Tsuji-san had, oh wow, you can smell. Can you smell the aroma? The aroma is coming up even before I open the bag. Ooh, that's beautiful. So let's try to put this on here. Ooh, that's not good. Let's get a. Do you know where the plates are? Here we go. Okay, so in storing these things, we also often use bags as well, but if you have a bag and a storage can, the best way to store them is to keep them in the bag, fold it up. If you have a clip, if you have a resealer, it's always best to reseal because resealing guarantees the air tightness. Otherwise, clip it and put it back in here. Now, if you're going to drink matcha on a regular basis, like daily or weekly, then I would not put it in the refrigerator. It does store and preserve quality better in the refrigerator. However, doing so will also increase chance of condensation forming, and condensation forming is the enemy of matcha quality. So I'm going to do this. So you can take a look at the beautiful color. Whoa, no. Beautiful color of the matcha. And we're going to put it into our little, this is called a matcha bowl. This matcha bowl comes from a collaboration between one of our friends, the Saten Tea Cafe, and a Minoyaki, which is Mino is the region in Gifu Prefecture. A ceramics manufacturer called they branded themselves as Origami. And this is a matcha bowl, a porcelain ceramic matcha bowl with a little spout. And this spout is called a katakuchi. And that just makes it, it's not traditional, but it makes it easier for us to pour and share this matcha. So what I'm doing here is I want to get rid of some of the clumps first before I put any water inside. And so I'm going to do this. to like break up some of the clumps. And this was already prepared, so there's actually some water on it. It is a little bit wet, so you can have the matcha on here. But you know, once we make it, it will be nice. Okay, so this is about 70-degree water. We're going to put a little bit in, just a little bit. Oh, it's beautiful aroma. Just a little bit like this. I don't know if you can see that much, but we're going to knead it into a paste first. That also helps to break up clumps as well. And then we're going to put a little bit of more water inside. So I used 2 small scoops of this, so this should be about 2 grams. Or probably 1.5 grams. So we're going to use about 150 milliliters of water. I think you want to taste this a little bit thicker. And whisking it so that you have a beautiful, beautiful bowl of matcha, which you probably can't see because this is, can you see it? No? All right. So for me and my assistant here. So this is Tsujiki's competition grade matcha. Here you go. For my assistant and for myself. Cheers. Oh. This is really sweet. Oh my goodness. All right, it is, oh, wow. Oh my God, that's really, it actually, wow, like we usually talk about like an intense umami flavor with these products. But this is a, I mean, you have, I would actually say that maybe it's because of the way I prepared it or something. It's like the umami is coming in the aftertaste now. But it's a very, 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 it's the savoriness. It's like a umami with a very, very high sweet profile. Oh, extremely, extremely sweet. I'm not a taster, so I'm not going to give you things about notes of this or that. Oh, but it's so amazing. The sweetness of it is amazing. So Tsuji-san grows the way that you cultivate for this level of tea. We'll talk a little bit about that. You take the plant, instead of trimming the hedges with machines to shape them, you trim the hedges of the machines, you trim the hedges of the tea with machines so that you are able to then create a base from which you can cut new leaf off of whenever you do machine harvesting. But when you do harvesting by hand, you let the plant grow naturally. You do trim it, of course, to keep it low, but you let the plant grow more naturally than you would as if you were allowed to grow it as a hedge. And that creates a plant where you have these long branches. And what they'll do is, in order to get a harvest of leaf that is consistent, they will, at some point during the spring flush, early in the spring flush, they'll pluck the top leaf off of the branch to stop the branch from growing larger. And then that forces the plant to, the nutrients that are coming up from the roots to grow into lateral leaves. So you pluck off the apical bud, and you encourage growth of the lateral buds. So you might have on one branch, 5 to 6 or 7 leaves on a single branch coming off of a base parent leaf. There will be a lateral leaf that comes off, and that's what you're plucking for the spring harvest. And also, in order to allow the plant to grow like that, you can't cover it directly. You need to use a canopy. In the most traditional way to do it, you would cover the canopy using a straw called yoshizu, a reed basically called yoshizu, and bamboo as the base. And that will allow you to then cover the field. And because you're using straw, you can actually adjust the amount of straw, and allowing different levels of sunlight to reach the plant during different stages of the cultivation. And it also allows the farmer to then, or Tsuji-san to then, increase the amount of shading as time goes on, as well as depending on the amount of sunlight that they adjust the amount of shading depending on the amount of sunlight as well. And Tsuji-san is actually really well known in the industry for doing a lot of regular scientific analysis of the soil, so that he knows exactly what is going into the soil. He uses organic compost fertilizer to fertilize his soil. His product is not organic per se, or not officially organic, but he uses organic fertilizer, but twice the amount that you would usually use for normal high-grade cultivation, and monitors the development of the soil microbiology in order to ensure that he has the most optimal soil development. And then once he harvests by picking, then you process it into tencha by steaming, and then roasting or drying on a conveyor belt oven called a tensharo. It's a tensha oven. They will then take the dry leaf, and then they'll have to refine it by crushing it, removing the stems, and processing it into a very fine flake that is then allowed to be ground into matcha. So, and that's by stone mill, of course. And if you follow all of those things, we call it heritage grade, and we call it competition grade if it is submitted to a competition. If it's a lot that is especially produced in order to be able to submit to competition. So the difference between his competition grade Asahi and his regular Asahi is that he's harvesting it at the optimal moment in the growth of the leaf, whereas the regular Asahi, he takes the rest of the field and harvests it several days later, and allowing it to also grow a little bit larger because of the extra days. And so it's, you're getting the extra little bit of quality that is then able to be at the top of the industry. And so the differences between the competition grades leaf on a 200-point scale, the winning leaf generally gets 200 points. The second, third place, fourth place can be anywhere between 199 and 197 points. And it's really just a sliver of difference there. And then the differences between that one and there's usually 140, 150 entries, so the bottom entries are also extremely excellent, but you're really getting that little extra bit that is just is that extra bit that is almost impossible to get with any other regular matcha. So that's competition grade matcha. This is just amazing. Actually, you can smell the sweetness and the toastiness combining with the umami in this. It's very, very interesting. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So we're actually going to get his competition grade Asahi cultivar. There's a Samidori cultivar that was submitted to the competition, as well as an Ujimidori cultivar that was submitted as well. And we also have his regular Asahi, Samidori, Ujimidori, and Goko, I believe. And so to mention about the other products from competitions, actually Shogyokuen at Kobayashi-san at Shogyokuen, his competition grade matcha or tencha goes into his top of the line Zuisho product. He has not placed as well. He's about, I can't remember, about like 20 or 30th place this year out of the 150 entries in the national competition. And then companies like Aoi Seicha, who have their highest grade 10K product, is a blend of competition grade matcha from various different companies or various different farms that they've purchased up and blended together. So you're getting really, really excellent product with any of these products. Really excellent matcha with any of these products. You can still taste that. You can still taste it in your mouth. It's wonderful. Do you have any questions actually today? If not, we'll end this today. And we'll be doing this again with other types of matcha as well as other types of tea. So thank you very much, everyone.